Hey guys, welcome to Renewed. Now cool down and let's talk cooling. Specifically, radiators. 1968 Chevrolet C10 with a 1984 350. So, as you can see, we've already been working. We already got the old radiator out. I will show you how I got the radiator out. We'll talk with, I'll send you back to past me and he can show you how we got it out. I want to explain some differences for those that don't know. If you already know, why are you watching the video? I mean, I'll take it. Entertainment, sure. But, what we have here is a brass original style radiator. It's not original to this truck. It came out of a 69 that my dad had put a big block in. And I can't say for certain that this is the original radiator for that truck and not a replacement. But so I'm going to say it's original style brass radiator. Now, what you have on the sides here is your cooling tanks on both sides. On your modern vehicles, they're typically plastic. And what you want to look out for there is where these seams are on the plastic one. They can typically break and start to leak. So you have your cooling tanks on each side, and you have your rows here, the not the fins, but the rows there in between. And so your water gets pulled out of your radiator through your lower radiator hose here on both radiators, and it comes back in from your motor here. And then as it flows across here, your fan, either pulling or pushing depending on what style, if you have a fan on front or a fan on the rear. Most vehicles are fan on the engine side, sometimes dual fans, will pull your air across, and these vents here, these fins, are absorbing the heat from the water, and the air is dissipating that heat, therefore cooling it when it comes back from your motor to before it leaves for your motor again. Now, then you have your radiator cap that's pressured. On this vehicle, I believe it's 13 pounds or 16 pounds. I'll have to look on the radiator cap. And when I go to install, I'll tell you. So, that radiator cap has a spring in it, and as your cooling system builds up pressure, that cap is rated for the certain amount of pressure, and it keeps your water or cooling from evaporating, turning into steam. You have your antifreeze in there that in the summertime it acts as coolant, and it keeps your water it raises the boiling point of your water, so it keeps it in liquid form, liquid state. Then in the wintertime, it also raises the freezing point of water to keep it in a liquid state. So, what is the differences in these two radiators and which one's better? Again, it all depends on your application. Original style radiator, they work fine. If you're running a stock motor, even a big block, this one kept a big block cool, never overheated, I don't believe. Works just fine. We're pulling it out because as you can see, there's a goopy spot here because I punctured it and then patched it with some JB weld, and we believe it's filled in that cooling tube and causing it to make the vehicle overheat. An aluminum radiator has a lot of benefits. Aluminum dissipates heat much faster than brass, so you're going to have much better cooling. Also, an aluminum radiator, much lighter. That's why we have a bathroom scale I took out of my garage here. Now, if you're doing a lot of racing applications, things like that, you definitely want an aluminum radiator. Most modern vehicles already have an aluminum radiator with the plastic tanks. But if you're like me, you don't have anything modern, you definitely want to go to an aluminum radiator. This is a used one. Put it in the truck, got the truck on the road. Things happened, power steering, alternator belt flew out, throwing another alternator belt on the side of the road, ran a screwdriver through it. It was bad news. So that's why there's this chunk here. We just had it repaired yesterday by a shop. I know it's not the prettiest looking, but it's a repair. They're not going to get looking brand new. So, hope I explained the job, and I hope I explained the differences. Now I'm going to show you how I pulled this radiator out, all the steps. I want to say first off, thank you to my wonderful girlfriend for actually lifting it out, because I have lifting restrictions and I know that that's more than 5 pounds. So next we'll show you us putting this aluminum one back in, but first off we'll show you the weight saving. And the weight saving is good because if you're racing, you want to save weight. More weight means faster track time, faster quarter-mile times, things like that. You also get better fuel mileage. You really won't notice it per se because you're only saving a couple pounds, but you will get better fuel mileage. So that's why it's definitely better to go aluminum. So let's see here. We'll start here with this guy. I'll just lift this up, slide it underneath. $25 pounds. Now, lift this guy up. $11 pounds. So, that's a pretty good weight reduction. Now, these are both empty. So, obviously a full radiator changes things. But an 11-pound difference, that's a pretty good difference. These ports here are for, I think that's a steam port. These are for a transmission cooler, internal for your automatic transmission. That radiator has it too. I don't have a automatic transmission, so I don't need those. Okay guys, so this is actually past me. You just talked with future me that hopefully pulled this out without any issues. So, if I had any issues, probably told you that I had issues, and then that means you know more about what's about to happen than I do. So now we're gonna go ahead and get this old radiator yanked out. First thing you want to do is open up your drain plug. So actually we'll get this hose out of the way. That's gonna go back on. That's my fancy radiator overflow. We'll just set that over there. Okay. It's on this side. Overflow. No. Definitely not the right pliers for the job. Come on now, just... There we go. Oh, didn't even need them. Huh. Oh, there's like legitimate junk that came out of that. We just flushed this, but we didn't take this drain plug out. And look at all that. That was in it. Like, jeez. Well, it's not a problem anymore. So as this drains, we're then going to go ahead and get, this is going to help. Not create a vacuum. We're going to pull that out. we're going to get that out of the way. Then we're going to come down sockets. Didn't even see what these ones were. We'll figure that out. We're going to get these guys, lower radiator hose clamp, out of the way. Sometimes these are just a butt. Okay. Loosen off. Hope. Loosen it way up. And then last time this was up. Not fun to get out. I have to switch spots. It's a bugger. Last time it took me a good 45 minutes or so to get it off last time.
It's going. It's leaking through, so it's coming off. Hold this crap out of the way, please. Got it.
Huh.
Mostly got it. It is coming.
I see it, Ken. It's coming. Come on out. Now. There we go. There we go. Now, next thing you want to do is take off your top two fan shroud bolts. There are clips at the very bottom. They do not come out until after the radiator comes out. So if you ever have to remove this fan shroud, you have to pull the radiator out. Ask me how I know. Because I've done this a couple times. We'll set that there. So, I probably mentioned we've been fighting this overheating issue for a little while now. And so as you saw, that was an aluminum lower radiator hose. The other one was collapsing, and it was not good. And I went with that aluminum one because with this motor being an 84, the water pump's for an 84, and it's angled differently on the inlet for the radiator hose, and that was creating quite a bit of a kink and rubbing it against the frame rail. This aluminum one has not kinked at all or rubbed against the frame rail, so that's why we went to that one. Originally, this motor had the clutch fan from the 84 on it, and the clutch fan was too big for this fan shroud, and instead of cutting off the fan shroud, you know, cutting it down to here, we ran no fan shroud. Well, we put a Flexolite fan on it. Not a big fan of that style fan, pardon the fan pun, but it's working. And that we were able to run the fan shroud. We also put a 160-degree thermostat in this right there, and we've flushed this radiator 6 or 7 times. So you what, these covers here, great tool holders. And I know these covers are not the prettiest looking. They were a prototype. Get yourself some real good ones at modshopmetalworks.com. Okay. So now our upper radiator mounts are off. Our drain for our overflow is off. Our fan shroud is unbolted from it. Our coolant is somewhat drained out of it. So now I'm gonna have to switch off and be the camera holder because I can't hold more than technically 5 pounds due to surgery restrictions. And this thing weighs a lot. There it is. There's it's out. There it is. All right, go ahead, set that down. So we've got the radiator out. From our point of view, we're now going to film the introduction that you guys already saw, and then we are going to then put the new radiator back in. So from your guys' perspective, we're suddenly going to be putting in a brand new, not brand new, but different aluminum radiator. Yep. Alright, so first thing, set her down, gentle, right here. We're gonna make sure we got no debris, rust, holes. You know, your bushings look good. Why is there rocks down here? Jeez. There's a hole. There's a factory hole. What is trouble down there? Oh, bye-bye. You definitely don't want any debris down here that can rub against your radiator and, you know, set you back a couple steps. So, alright, that looks good. Go ahead and set this bad girl in. Oh, we're hitting on dome. The fan shroud is hitting on the drain plug. Great. This way. There we go. Now it's in. Okay, now it's not rubbing against there. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. So there's no bolts on the bottom if you saw me, you know, taking the other one out, if you're paying attention. Well, our radiator is officially mounted in. Yes, it was a little bit of a struggle, but that's what happens when you put some aftermarket parts on. Just happens. Make sure our fan isn't, you know, touching nothing. Looks good. Sure. Okay. Now we want to put our hoses on. Slide that bad guy on here. Yup, nope. And then you want to run this down tight, you know, tight as you can get it. Yep, it's tight. In fact, probably gonna have to replace that hose clamp soon. Then you want to put your other one on. Yep, that's on there. You want to run this hose clamp down, again, tight as you can. And then you're gonna put your coolant in, start your truck up, let it get up to temperature. Realize your hose clamps are somehow still loose, and tighten them down again. That's on right up. Okay, I'm almost actually, should be almost done actually. Nope, that's extension's too long. Great. I know this will do that one. Be a screwdriver. There we go. Now, last piece to install. Install our nice clean water bottle. Slide our overflow tubulator on. Yeah. Add our coolant. Throw our radiator cap on. We don't have a specific brand of antifreeze we like to run. We typically run whatever we can find for antifreeze. I like to run pre-diluted antifreeze coolant. That means it's 50-50 antifreeze coolant, and it's just 50%, half whatever antifreeze coolant, half water. I like to run that versus the concentrate, because then you put a jug of concentrate, then you gotta get, you know, the exact same amount of water and put in, and then you're guessing on your mixes and all that. I like the pre-diluted stuff. Do make sure that it's, you know, all, if you know, read your owner's manual if you're on a new car. See what type of antifreeze, what color. I don't know why there's a difference in colors, but there's a difference in colors. For this, you know, it's all makes, all models, sure. Also, try not to spill. So that way you don't think your spills are leaks and your leaks are spills. I'll be right back. Now in an emergency, you know, say you're on the side of the road overheating, you can see that you have a low water. You know, some vehicles have a reservoir that'll tell you, you can see it, you can physically look into it. Other vehicles like mine, it's just, you can't tell until you pop the radiator. I'm going to say this right now. If your engine is up to temperature, if it's been running for more than 5 minutes and your temperature gauge is starting to go up, even if you're overheating or not, do not open your radiator cap. Don't do it. Now some of them have a little red safety lever, like this one does, so, but still it's not recommended to do it, okay? It's for your safety, because that water is not only several, you know, it's probably 120, 130, 140 degrees when your engine just gets up into operating temperature. But also, if you're overheating, that water is 220. Yeah, in the 200s of degrees of temperature. And not only that, it's under 16 pounds of pressure. So you pop that cap, that is 200-degree water squirting at a high pressure at your face. Okay, don't do it. Don't do it. I've seen guys where they, you know, they wrap the towel around or their t-shirt or whatever, and they slowly open it. Okay, I've seen that work. I've seen that not work. I don't recommend doing it. I've done it myself, but I'm not going to recommend you guys doing it. Okay. Let your engine cool. You know, if you're overheating like that, if you have a jug of water, spray it across the top of your radiator and across the fins with the engine running, works best. Or if your electric fans stay on after the engine's not running, that'll work too, but with the engine running is highly recommended, because you don't want to shut your engine off when you're overheating like that. I know it seems kind of backwards, but that's how you can get more internal damage than you already potentially have. And so take your water, run it across the top of the radiator, across the fins, and then watch your temperature gauge, and let your temperature gauge drop to a more operational temperature, and then let it run for couple minutes like that, and then you probably are safe to shut it off. That was 2 1/4 jugs. Oh, a little bit more left in here. Your dad's also got some more, but I don't want to use it. Okay, so now our radiator's full, but that doesn't necessarily mean the cooling system is full. There is air bubbles trapped in here, and this is where things can get quite difficult for your modern vehicles, because the way they got little tiny cooling hoses, and the way they got their heater hoses ran, and just the way the hoses are run, you can get air bubbles trapped a lot of places. Potentially also air bubbles are going to be in your engine, so you want to, best thing to do is, I can't squeeze the lower radiator hose, obviously, because it's aluminum. So squeeze your upper one, kinda, it's called burping. And you should get air, some air out of the system. Obviously, obviously thermostat is closed, so you're not gonna get any air out of your engine until you run it through a heat cycle. Get it up to operating temperature. Don't take it for a drive. Get it up to operating temperature, and then let it cool down before you open that cap. Or you can sometimes keep your cap off, and it will just take a little bit longer for your engine to get up to temperature and your thermostat open. But then you'll be able to see, you know, your fluid level drop. You'll be able to see water actually circulating. because that's not getting any air out. But now we basically would start the truck, burp it, let it get up to temperature. In this case, it should be opening at 160 degrees. Because that's the thermostat I have in it. And then that should help circulate the coolant. There's going to be residual old coolant coming through, and that'll also help get any air that's trapped in, say, your lower radiator hose or water pump or water jackets inside. That'll help get that out. Tighten up your leaks. You're going to have them. Tighten them up. And then keep adding coolant until it doesn't stop dropping. And then throw your cap on and enjoy your good work. Take yourself for a little cruise. Keep some coolant with you though when you take yourself for a cruise. So we're going to get this started. Hope the camera doesn't fall into the engine. And just let it sit and cycle through a little bit here. The temperature gauge that you're reading on a vehicle like this is actually on the engine block down there. I'm running a manual style temperature gauge, not electric. It's like I believe there's mercury in it, like your at-home thermostat you keep out on your deck for 15 years and you've never looked at. Basically like that. And then according to that gauge, it's sitting at about 160, so the thermostat is not quite open quite up yet. It's probably cracked a little bit, but you would see a large influx of water coming from here in. It looked like a creek flowing type situation. Revving up on it, it did drop a little bit, topped it off. So I think, by golly, Miss Molly, I think we're good. The fact that it's not sitting at 190 right now is telling me some good things, but let's see what the temperature gauge says. Yes, I know my temperature gauge is not properly mounted at all, but you know, it's cool. It's warming up a little bit. It's probably about, you know, I'm gonna guess, you know, that's 190. I'm gonna guess about 170-ish. That's great. That's great news. And there, you probably just missed it. See those air bubbles? There was an air bubble there. See if you can see it again. There it is. Okay, thermostat is starting to crack open. There, yep. There it is, see? Now, I don't know if you're able to it's starting to open, water level dropping a little bit. We'll let it sit here for a few more minutes, idling, see what temperature it gets up to. If it gets up to 190, I'm gonna say we're good. Not really overheating at idle. Take out for a drive, see how it does later tonight when it's a little bit, you know, less 100 million degrees in a truck with no air conditioning. See how it does. But you know, basically as it drops, that means air is circulating through, and your water is circulating through, pushing that air up through that hose out. The thermostat's in there in this case, and yeah. Well guys, it's later in the day, a little bit cooler out. We are going to check the coolant in it, take it for a test drive. Let me get the hood open here. Holding the camera.
Okay.
Girlfriend came out. She held the camera. I got the hood open. Coolant looks good. I will add a little bit from my radiator overflow bottle. You know, if it okay, we're good there. Everything looks, you know, yep, it's good there. I am going to have the girlfriend's help shutting the hood. We got an issue with this hood that we already got plans to fix it eventually after we procrastinate unintentionally. What happened here, see that? crack and you know the gap there. Yeah, it's supposed to not be like it's supposed to be like that. That is a common problem on these 67 to 72 Chevy hoods. Basically what you have to do, you take your hood off, you flatten that piece of metal, you spot weld it up, and then you have to do a flat strap from your front bolt area, a piece of strap down, weld it up on both sides. You do it on both sides to keep the hood even. And that'll help fix that problem. It's just a known issue. So let's get the hood shut. Now, if you notice this problem on your 67, 72 C10, it's best to A, get it fixed right away, but also have someone put a little pressure right here as you're shutting the hood. It'll kind of keep that from wanting to flex like that. So, that all being said, we got some spare water for when things go wrong. We're going to hop in the truck and we're going to take it for a test drive, and you're going to come along with us. Alright, we're going to run to the fill it up station first. Now, yes, we have other issues. We're not worried about those right now. That's next. Hopefully this Sunday. But let's see how it runs now. Well, at least you guys get to enjoy some music while we speed through this process. It's $4.90 a gallon here in California.
Yeah, fun times.
I think I'll get a home loan.
Okay, I'm gonna pause while you're out. Hold it for a bit.
Oops, I smoked him out.
Oh, you didn't do it on purpose.
it's all downhill. So it's not really going to overheat going downhill. But it did actually run about 10 degrees cooler than it normally would. So now we're turned around, we're going back uphill. And I want to see how it does there. If it doesn't get above 190, which it is sitting about 180, if it doesn't get above 190, climbing some of these hills, but there's some long ones, I'm going to say, you know, we achieved our goal. It's about 90 degrees out right now outside. So I think we're going to be fine. It's running about 190-ish, 195-ish. And that was climbing all those hills. Normally, before it, you know, a couple days ago, put it that way. Same conditions, it would have been 210, maybe even 215 by the time we got up to here. So, on the way down, that same route would have been running about 190, and it was sitting at about 180. So we stopped here. We're gonna grab some food and then head back to the house. I'll show you what the temperature is when we get back home. Obviously, we're gonna be sitting here for about 30 minutes or so, so it'll fluctuate, cool down a little bit. But just want to say this, guys, if I don't get the chance, thank you guys for coming along and enjoying the ride, I hope. I don't know what music I picked yet. Hopefully it's some good stuff. I don't know yet. But thank you guys so much. And see you in a little bit. Well, guys, today was a good day. Sitting at about 180 degrees right now. We stopped for about 40 minutes in the parking lot getting some food. Temperature creeped up to about 190, just sitting there with the engine not running. But then once fluid got circulating, cooled right down, stayed cool. So I'm going to say that major improvement, definitely a win. And there's going to be more work coming up on this soon. We'll try and video it as much of it as we can. But in the meantime, get out there, grab a wrench, go renew something.